Pokemon Emerald version by OnTheCobb. Did you miss me? No? Fair enough. 9th day. Hey, I'm back. I swore I'd get the 7 battle symbols, and I'm not quitting when the end is practically in sight. Last time, I was prepping for my second battle with Greta at the battle arena. Umbreon is still as annoying as ever, and so is Gengar. So, what I need is a strategy dependent on held items. I've studied their moves, and I'm convinced that my best bet at winning the gold gut symbol is the following lineup. Blaziken, holding Personberry, Gardevoir, holding Chestoberry, and Flygon, holding Lumberry. Logically speaking, I know Umbreon is going to hit Blaziken with Confuse Ray on the first turn. But with the Personberry, it'll waste its first move, and give me 2 shots at double-kicking its ass. Of course, it'll probably use Rest to make all my damage moot, but that'll mean 2 of its 3 moves will be spent getting it back to normal and dealing no damage. In terms of the judging, Blaziken will win. Next is Gengar, countered by my Gardevoir. Gengar only has 1 Ghost-type move, and it relies on putting Gardevoir to sleep, so I gave her a Chestoberry. Not to mention, her Synchronize ability will link up Gengar with whatever is inflicted upon her. Gengar's special defense is pretty low, so Gardevoir's Psychic should tidy him up quite nicely. As for Breloom, the only concern is if he puts my Pokemon to sleep with Spore or flinch spam them with Headbutt. Flygon's Fly will be doubly effective against Breloom, so I'm not too worried. After 56, I was ready to beat Greta. Done. The gold gut symbol is mine. Once I was past Umbreon, the hardest part was over. In between the battle arena and the next facility, I flew back to the main region to do some future planning. Beating the brains is all well and good, but the battle tower is getting closer and closer. So I figured I'd do some training to set myself up for it. Annabelle is supposedly the toughest of the tough, and she has a Snorlax and a frickin' Latios the second time around. After my episode with Tucker's Latios, I know how terrifying those things can be. And this time, I have to fight it. But its special attack and special defense are too darn high, and it knows Calm Mind. My only hope is to hit it with physical super effective moves, like Bug or Ghost. But none of my Pokemon know these. So, I made another choice. Shedinja. Remember Shedinja? I used him to beat Watson's Manectric way back when. His Wonder Guard will be put to good use once more. Looking at Latios' moveset, it shouldn't be able to bypass Shedinja's Wonder Guard. But to help whittle down Latios faster, I'm going to teach it the TM Toxic that I've been carrying since the Fiery Path. At level 32, he'll learn Shadow Ball, and he already knows Fury Cutter. It's the perfect counter weapon. There's only one problem. Shedinja is at level 20. I need to bring him up to level 50 and improve his stats to be ready for the battle frontier. To help with that, I gave him Pokerus from the coughing I kept stored in my PC, and gave him the EXP share. I also have about 16 rare candies that I may as well blow on this. What else am I going to use them for? I'll level up Shedinja steadily with the gym leader rematches, but I'll do it carefully so that the rest of my Pokemon don't get past level 50. Then I'll finish up with the rare candies. I already taught him Toxic, and got him up to level 31 before going back to the battle frontier to resume my streak. Next up, the Battle Pyramid. The gimmick here is that you have to ascend 7 floors of trainers and wild Pokemon with only 3 of your own. No healing, but there are items scattered about. The screen is also dark, brightening up bit by bit as you defeat a wild Pokemon or trainer. And if you beat a trainer, they'll give you little tips, like how many items are left on the current floor, how many trainers are left on the current floor, or which direction the exit is hiding. Besides the Battle Pike, I think this is my favorite facility. I just found it fun to manage my supplies. I also have to switch out my Pokemon to counter the types of wild Pokemon I'm predicted to encounter. There's a lady who will foretell what types I'll have to deal with. I changed up my lineup based on what she said. First, Pokemon that paralyze. Went with Flygon's Earthquake. Second, Pokemon that poison. Went in with Flygon's Earthquake and Gardevoir's Psychic. Third, Pokemon that burn. Went in with Flygon's Earthquake, Blaziken, and Aggron. The reason I went with the other two is because the third time around, or after 21 floors, I have to face Brandon at the top. I reserved a couple of Hyper Potions, Ethers, and Revives for this, burning a Sacred Ash I was lucky to find in order to revive all my Pokemon to full health. One good thing about battling Brandon is that you can use the items you gathered from the floors. Revives, Hyper Potions, and full restores are all fair game. Good thing, too, because I'm facing Brandon and his trio of Reggies. I had Flygon square off against Regirock, but Regirock used Explosion right after I hit him with Earthquake, killing us both. Next up was Registeel. Blaziken took him on while wearing a Choice Band I was lucky enough to have picked up from the floors. Double Kick did massive damage, and Blaziken survived Regirock's Earthquake to boot. Bye-bye, Registeel. Last was Regice. Blaziken was too weak and was killed by Ice Beam, but Aggron was bringing up the rear and was able to smoke Regice with a well-timed Iron Tail. And, just like that, the silver Brave symbol was mine. Gold would be a bit trickier. Challenging Brandon a second time would require me to beat 70 floors of the Battle Pyramid. Once again, I had to change up my lineup depending on what Pokemon I had to encounter. And I swear, every trainer has a Water-type Pokemon with Surf, Earthquake, and Ice Beam. The amount of Pokemon they can kill is staggering, and I lost once or twice on my battle to the top. Here's what I did in response to the Pokemon I encountered. Fourth, Pokemon that reduce power points. I went in with Blaziken and Flygon, just because they have a widespread moveset to take out Ghost and Normal types. Fifth, Pokemon with Levitate. Glalie, Sharpedo, and Gardevoir, only because they know Crunch and Gardevoir has Psychic. Sixth, Pokemon with Trapping abilities. God, this was a pain. I couldn't run. Thankfully, most of the wild Pokemon were covered by Ludicolo. I love Ludicolo. I took a break to go to the Move Tutor in the Battle Frontier and exchange battle points so Aggron can learn Rock Slide. It'll need it to take on Brandon's new trio of Pokemon. I swapped Headbutt for Rock Slide. 7th, Ice-type Pokemon. Blaziken, Aggron, and Gardevoir. Fire, Fighting, Steel, Rock, Electric. They covered all the weaknesses. 8th, Pokemon with Self-Destruct and Explosion. Aggron. Aggron can tank all these ticking time bomb Pokemon like they're nothing. Thank you, Aggron. 9th, Psychic-type Pokemon. Again, Aggron can tank it. But I threw in Flygon and Gardevoir too. 10th, Rock-type Pokemon. This was actually the easiest for me because of Ludicolo. I used up all my PP-ups on Ludicolo's Surf and Giga Drain, and both can completely wreck rock types, so I'm good there. But this 10th time also marks the second time I'll face Brandon for the gold Brave symbol, so I have to adjust my party. I'll be facing a new trio of legendaries, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. I've been saving up Hyper Potions and Revives for this. Aggron can kill Articuno with Rock Slide. Articuno's Water Pulse is super effective against him, but he can take it, so long as it isn't Surf. Gardevoir's Ice Punch can whittle down Zapdos. Ludicolo's Surf can destroy Moltres. And if anything bad happens, I have a good surplus of items as a safety net. In no time at all, the golden Brave symbol was mine. I have 6 frontier symbols. Only the Battle Tower remains, the last hurdle. Will I be able to get my Shedinja up to snuff to take out Latios? Will I even make it past the 70 battle streak to gold? And what about Annabelle's last line of defense, Snorlax? Next time, the thrilling conclusion to my Pokemon Emerald challenge.